Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about a way to utilize your Shiva dragons, a Leo, and if you didn't get Leo, you have Mebius. So, why is Shiva dragon and Leo so popular? Well, Leo provides 4 times effective HP, so dual leaders is 16, which is a great number all around. For bulk, has a way to generate orbs, gives you an attack buff, makes some hearts, unlocks the board. All around, it's just a great card. So I want to try and start finding like interesting teams we can utilize with our Shiva dragons, because Shiva dragons create a looping system of, creating multiple 12 fire orbs and then just swiping away. So first dungeon I think that's good to tackle is Training Arena 3, because we need to level up all our Shiva dragons and like all other cards. So you may or may not have other competent Training Arena 3 teams. Like for myself, I like my Lubu and Shikigami team, but this can also work, and Mebius is actually vital for this setup. You don't want double Leo, so if you're like, say, Fantastic, who didn't get Leo, this setup can actually work well, because all you need to do is have at least 17 skill boosts total. And once you do have 17 skill boosts, you'll be able to transform and have Mebius's Transform active ready in time, because their Transformed active changes all enemies' attributes into fire. And that is important because in Training Arena 3, the highest amount of health a spawn can have is 23 billion. And that's a large number, but we can definitely overcome it. But if they are water, we're never going to be able to overcome it. So changing that water attribute cards on Sumeria on floor 8 and possibly Orochi on floor 11 is mandatory. Once you change their color out of water, your damage is going to be more than enough to actually kill it. So Mebius actually works incredibly well here. And the key is just remembering to use him. Make sure you transform him at the latest by floor 6. And that's why you need at least 17 skill boosts, because you are getting 6 haste from your Shiva dragons. In terms of the weapon assist, I just picked a bunch of stuff that has skill boost and rose. You don't need this many. Potentially, you may want to have Medu hats if you just like more combo orbs. The point of the matter is, I just picked a bunch of cards that had skill boost plus rose. There's many other options out there. It's probably reasonably flexible for the most part. And then I chose Freyr because they just give a 9-turn attack buff, which guarantees your sub-attributes do enough damage. So there's a good chance you have 2 Shiva dragons with double damage cap, maybe one of the damage absorption cancellation. Your Leo friend is going to have either leader swap or damage absorption, or maybe double damage cap. Point of the matter is, you have enough caps to actually successfully overcome the dungeon, and if you don't really want to just see me swiping around, that's kind of like the gist of the video. Basically, have a way to change their attribute into something that's not water on floor 8 guaranteed, and possibly floor 11, and then you can swipe on your merry little way. So let us transition into me swiping around, which may or may not be as exciting, but idea is hopefully you have a general sense of what you need to do for this. So I'm just leveling up a bunch of various different cards for my team, and I realize I don't plug my headphones in. So you transform a Shiva dragon, and then you swipe, and then you are very happy. I'm leveling up a Gung-Ho Belial because, well, I got one. I might as well make it 120. So you swipe, so much damage. My leader hasn't transformed yet, but that's okay. I got the invade. This is great. So it transforms soon enough. Like I said, I had more than enough skill boosts anyways, and technically with Freyr's haste, that's another effective skill boosts. And we're just swiping along. This is all we're doing. It's not particularly magical or anything. Bing, 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 bing. So yeah, the weapon assists are maybe like there's a Medu hat somewhere. There's some other cards that give like Rose, maybe some skill boosts. Not super, super important. Pew, pew, pew. Alrighty, so now I can transform my Mebius. I'm well ahead of schedule. Like, I need to get it by floor 6. And in theory, with the haste, I could have done it faster. The idea is you have to have it done by floor 6 because you need to have their active skill ready after they transform immediately. So, with the no Skyfall badge, this goes a little bit faster. The only drawback compared to, like, say, the Shikigami route is you have to pay a bit more attention. Like, you have to use a couple more brain cells, which is obviously a problem in pad because I said this before, the goal of pad is to play as little pad or think as little as possible. So floor 8's coming up soon. Next floor, I better make sure I actually touch the active because I won't do enough damage because red versus blue is just an unfavorable thing. So we're going to change his color, and now I can do sufficient damage. For 1 turn, he's red, and for that turn, he's going to die. It's a lot of damage. And the nice thing about Mebius is that he comes back up for floor 11 in time. Like, instead of having to run, like, both leaders having, like, say, the color changing ability, you just need one, and you're good to go. So this team does work quite well. Like, it's gonna get your clears. And I feel like the main reason why it's mostly, like, light or dark teams that farm this is because the color advantage. Because if this was Orochi, I would have to change the color, but it's not, so I don't actually need to. Point of the matter is, the more clicking you have to do, you could possibly, like, forget what you're doing. Because with my Lubu team, as long as I pop my Loki at some point in time, I don't have to worry about my damage output for any spawn. But, with that being said, this is quite a pleasant team to farm Training Arena 3. Like, it is quite accessible when you think about it, and yeah, like, it gets the job done, and I can level up my cards happily. So yeah, my Shiva Dragons are leveling up, my Belial's leveling up. It's good times all around. So, with that being said, hopefully all you lovely ladies and gentlemen have a truly fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.